Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing U.S. immigration processing going from worse to worser. I'm just going to stick this headline up on screen. This is from The Hill, thehill.com. Article is titled, Trump Border Czar Says Administration Will Conduct Workplace Immigration Raids. Quoting directly, incoming border czar Tom Homan said Monday that President-elect Trump's administration will crank up workplace raids as part of its broader immigration crackdown. This would not seem to directly impact the K-1, K-3, CR-1, or IR-1 visa process, which are generally for fiancés and spouses of American citizens or lawful permanent residents who are legally trying to immigrate to the United States. But it is worth pointing out that first, unlike the first Trump presidential term, which took about 2 years for us to see real concrete changes to not only immigration processing, but immigration enforcement, I think we're going to see this from the get-go with the new administration. And I think this is evidenced by the fact that since the last administration, Mr. Trump has become more sophisticated with his appointments. For example, it's kind of tactically brilliant that he's brought Mr. Holman on board as the border czar, because I believe this is something he can appoint in the Trump transition team to get started on work before they even get into office. Meanwhile, this is also someone who, to the best of my knowledge, is appointed directly by the executive without the need for senatorial confirmation. And this is also significant because these policies can start being implemented from the get-go. What's the point for those who are looking at fiancé or marriage visa applications moving forward? Well, long story short, and the way I look at it is I think we're going from worse to worser. And what am I talking about? Well, quite frankly, the Biden administration has not been the easiest thing to deal with in terms of immigration. The bureaucracy is just completely off the chain. I'm getting denials on cases where they're denying because they say so. Literally, that is their legal logic chain. We're denying because we say so. I can get into it, but unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but attorney-client privilege precludes me from that. Have to deal with that case, so that is what it is. I've also seen denials on picayune, just nonsensical stuff, requests for evidence, RFEs for the same stuff. Generally speaking, the Biden administration has been no particular friend to legal immigrants. I don't care really what they say. That being said, under Trump, we saw things like the tightening up of the affidavit of support requirements, which I could see totally coming back. They also sort of tried to, and in my opinion it was illegal, but try to deprioritize the K-1 visas, the fiancé visas. Again, why were they messing with legal immigration? To the administration, I'm gung-ho with going after the illegals, but why are you messing with the people that want to play by the rules, stand in line correctly, and do the process right? Why mess with them? I'm hoping you learn from the last administration and from the administration in the interim that that's probably not the best idea. Let's concentrate on going after illegals. And frankly, I think the appointment of Mr. Holman is a good sign in that direction, that they're looking to prioritize illegal immigration. But can we please, please, please stop hassling and haranguing people that have legally gotten into the system and are processing through the system? Meanwhile, for those who are not in the system yet but looking at a K-1 or a K-3 or CR-1 or an IR-1 visa, this would probably be the time for me to tell you it's good to get in early and often in these situations. What am I talking about? Nothing can particularly change legally speaking while the current administration is still sitting there. Although after the administration is gone, Mr. Trump takes back over and we start seeing these policy shifts, things will have changed. So getting on file sooner rather than later is probably just a good idea, generally speaking. Meanwhile, the other thing to bear in mind is the fact that, these categories could be changed in the aftermath. And if you get in, you're sort of grandfathered in and processing through under the laws and the regulations as they sat at the time that you processed in, or at least the visa category itself will survive if you paid the fees associated with processing it. Long story short, and something that, again, is concerning to me, is if this administration makes legal immigration more problematic. And for those that are worried about such things, getting on file prior to the changeover would not be a terrible idea. And bear in mind, these things, this doesn't stop on a dime. It's like a big boat. You sort of stop the engine and then it kind of continues by momentum moving forward. So what's been going on in the present administration will probably have that same momentum. But the thing to keep in mind is it won't last very long, and it'll last, I think, far less time than the last Trump administration did, where it took about 2 years before I started really seeing major changes to the overall system. So again, it probably won't be instantaneous, but if you're looking to get someone into the United States legally, probably better to get on file sooner rather than later.